First of all, they're opening up a facility in Midland, Texas. They didn't talk, to my knowledge, my report is they didn't talk to any local official. So we have 1,000 kids. I think 250 came yesterday, 250 today. They're going to have up to 1,000 kids in this facility. No one knew they were coming. No one knows who they are. No one knows how long they're going to be there, where they're going. And Laura, to my understanding, there's Red Cross and volunteers. That's it. There's no staff there to handle them. The question in the community, who keeps these kids inside? Who are these kids? Do we want them roaming in our neighborhoods? 3,000 are going to Dallas. They may be opening another, I'll call it a camp, in San Antonio. Laura, let me tell you, you just played a clip where they said this is the safe travel for these people, the humane. Let me tell you what, MSNBC, CNN, the Biden administration, and the president himself, they are doing something I think is just as bad as what Cuomo did when he sent people with COVID to nursing homes. They are sending children into this country having no idea where they're going to end up. And some of these children are going to end up in sex trafficking. When they take these kids and send them to Uncle Bob in New Jersey, wherever it may be, they don't have the staff to watch them, to track them. They don't know where they're going. We have children brought over with the drug cartels in charge, not the families. The President of the United States is sending children from Mexico and Central America into sex trafficking operations in this country.
They're obsessed. They're obsessed with child pornography. They're obsessed with child trafficking. They're obsessed with kiddie porn. They are. That's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who was willing to die for the stock market. You know, he's part of the death cult. Sitting there asserting on Fox television, Fox News, for God's sake, which is not news, it's propaganda, okay, that these kids are being trafficked into sex slaves. We don't know who they are or where they're going. Are you freaking kidding? Holy crap, man, they're obsessed. They are literally obsessed with sex and pedophilia. And isn't it interesting that they're always caught being the pedophiles or covering up for the pedophiles? Oh my God. Here's Joe Biden explaining what is exactly happening.
Well, first of all, there was a surge the last 2 years, in 19 and 20, there was a surge as well.
This one might be worse.
No, well, it could be, but here's the deal. We're sending back people to, first of all, the idea that Joe Biden said come, because I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy and I won't do what Trump did.
They're saying this.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. They're not. The adults are being sent back, number one. That's number one. No, number two, what do you do with an unaccompanied child that comes to the border? Do you repeat what Trump did? Do you repeat what Trump did? Take them from their mothers, move them away, hold them in cells, etc.? We're not doing that. So what we're doing is we have brought in HHS and also brought in FEMA to provide for enough safe facilities for them to get out of the control of the Border Patrol, which are not designed to hold people for long periods of time, particularly children, get them out of those facilities. And most of them come with a phone number.
Yeah.
That they have someone in the country. So what we're doing is we're putting together an entire organizational structure so that within 7 days they're able to get in the phone, contact that number, find out whether there is a mother or a father, whether it is safe, whether it is a secure circumstance to get the child to that adult.
We all know that the kids come with a phone number of an aunt or an uncle or a parent or a sister or a brother who is in the United States, who has information. The kid usually has the phone number either written on their shoe. We've heard how many stories of this with the little kids going, please call my aunt, please call her. But oh no, creepy little Dan Patrick, the lieutenant governor, he has to sit there and say they're going to send him to, Uncle Ernie, who's going to fiddle about. They're obsessed with child pornography. You know that. They are obsessed with pedophilia. That's like QAnon, the whole thing. They told these people that they were helping to save children from pedophilia. There was a pedophile joint in Washington. It was a pizza place and a ping pong ball. They are obsessed with it. Obsessed with it. It's really twisted, their obsession. Oh my God, I don't know. How do they get the nerve to sit there and say this stuff out loud as if it's I don't know, is it real in their head? Just so sick. Sex traffickers. Sex trafficking. Here's some facts on the border, okay?
First, there is a spike of apprehensions at the southern border, over 100,000 in February alone. And that included nearly 9,600 kids, many unaccompanied by adults.
Right.
Now, the recent rise began in the final months of Trump's term, but it's escalated since Biden took office. Now, the border is not open. That's false. But it is fair to say that Biden's retraction of a Trump policy, which made people seeking asylum wait on the Mexican side of the border, has contributed to the rise. Now, you may have heard accusations of hypocrisy in the detention of underage migrants. So is this just a redux of the kids in cages policy from the Trump years? No. And there's an important reason why. The Trump administration intentionally pursued a policy of separating children from their parents when they crossed the border. As then Attorney General Jeff Sessions said, we need to take away children.
Right.
The cruelty was the point.
Right.
The kids now held in detention came across the border without their parents. So this is not a child separation policy, but it is a humanitarian crisis, and FEMA's been dispatched to help. Here's more context. Current levels of undocumented immigration lag behind a major spike in 2019 when Trump was in office.
See that?
When 977,000 people were apprehended at the southern border,
That's a
including
million
roughly
people.
80,000 unaccompanied minors, the highest in more than a decade.
Oh, my God.
But many of the migrants think that Biden's less punitive approach means they're welcome to cross the country illegally. They're not.
There are the facts on the border, okay? And the reason why, I mean, it peaks during the spring, it peaks during the summer, okay? People want and need to get out of these places either because there were 2 hurricanes that decimated Honduras this year, 2 of them, Eta, and I forget the name of the first one. These pounded the crap out of an already bad infrastructure. Infrastructure. They have dirt roads there. Their houses are literally, like barely tin roofs. And Donald Trump took the kids. He literally took them away from their babies that were nursing. He took that is not happening here. But they had almost 1 million people at the border in 2019. 1 million people. Do you understand that? 1 million. And 80,000 of those million were unaccompanied minors, okay? They destroyed the entire asylum system, the Trump administration did. And now you've got these Border Patrol guys who like the cruelty. They're into it. And their union protects them and allows them to do the cruelest things possible. And, a lot of them are helping, perpetuate some of these lies about these kids and feeding it to friendly QAnon legislators like Dan Patrick, who's willing to die for the stock market. Literally, he said he was talking to his grandkids and he realized, oh, well, I'm old and I could die now. And if it meant that America got to have a good stock market, I would do it. They're so sick. They're so twisted. I got news for you. It's tragic what goes on in the Northern Triangle. It's tragic what the United States did there. It's disgusting what we did there in the 70s and the 80s. It's mind-blowing. The militarization of these beautiful places, it's on us. We owe them. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.